What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we will be installing the dual fuel pump setup on my C5 Corvette, as you see back here. So with that said, I'm going to walk you guys through all the parts that we have here, and then we're going to go through some safety measures, the preparation, and then the work itself. So come along. Important thing that we have on this table is, of course, the energy drink. All right, make sure you guys have an energy drink when you're doing this. It's the only way to get the job done. Just kidding. No, it's not. So let's start with what comes in the Racetronics dual pump setup, which is all laid out here on the table. First thing we got here is the actual dual fuel pumps. As you can see here, they're fairly compact, a little bit loose, but I think that's okay. It just looks like that's just how the entire thing is put together. Doesn't look like anything's coming apart. Anyway, so the fuel pumps, we got the fuel socks that are going to be obviously going on the bottom here. Both of those are capped. Please make sure you guys keep those capped up until you're ready to use the fuel pump. This should be the last thing you prepare once your tank is opened, to make sure that you don't contaminate your fuel pumps or your filters. All right, we have some clips. We have this non-kink flexible hose. I think I'm going to reuse the one that I have on my car currently, but we'll see. It is a little bit longer. This will just end up sitting in the tank, so the longer it is, the better it is, the more chances of it going to the bottom of the tank. At least that's the thought process. We have the wires, which I believe these two hook up into those two hookups, I guess. And I don't think I'm going to be using these, but we'll find out. Next we have is the pigtail that's coming out of, or that's going to be mounted right by the tank. This large plug will be going into here, which then this entire thing is going to get routed to the front of the vehicle. This, along with these two things, I believe, I gotta figure this out here. No, this, along with this, will be underneath the hood. And I believe these and this will be in the back. I don't know. We'll see when I hook it up. Hob switch with the hookup to go to the rest of the wiring harness, and then some random plugs, blind plugs, for the ones that we're not going to be using. Only one of these are going to be used for the hob switch. The other one's not going to be used. So there's that. What I have here is 4 feet of 7mm or 9/32 tubing. As you can see, the plan here is to actually pump out the fuel through the Schrader valve at the end of the fuel rail. I'll show you what I'm talking about. And then I also have this 4-way core valve tool. Got this at Walmart for like, I don't know, $3. Got this at AutoZone for, I don't know, $6-7. Anyway, so let's get into it. First things first, as mentioned, we're going to go over the safety. Please do not do this work in a closed room or closed garage. Make sure you have your garage door open. Make sure you have, you can see here, I have my fan ready to go. It does stink, so you want to minimize the amount of time that your fuel tank is actually left open. And then, of course, you want to try not to spill as much fuel as you can. It goes without saying, as you should do this with your tank as low as possible. Unfortunately, mine is like 3/4 full, so we're going to have fun extracting all the gas out of there. So, before we get started, I went ahead and I pulled the fuel injector, geez, what are those called? The fuses, that's what it is. Fuel injector fuses. They're fuse 22 and fuse 18. The thought process here is I'm going to go ahead and depressurize the fuel pump or the fuel rail through the Schrader valve. I'm going to hook up the tube on this, run it down to the floor into a gas can, and then I'm just going to prime my fuel pump up until I extract all the gasoline out of there. Another major safety thing to consider is you are working with fuel, so there's going to be vapors. Don't use any power tools, or try not to use any power tools. Avoid anything that could cause a spark for obvious reasons. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I removed the Schrader valve out of the fuel rail. I've hooked up this tube. As you can see, it is running all the way down to the gas tank, or I'm sorry, the gas can. Just a note, make sure that you get this all the way on there. It is pretty tight. If you have to screw it on there, go ahead and screw it on there. I do want to show you guys this really quick, as the priming approach didn't really work. So what I've done is I've removed the fuel pump relay as it sits right here. The fuel pump relay has, let me see here, as you guys can see, it has 85, 86, 87, and 30 pin. The goal is to basically connect the 30 and the 87 pin to make sure you run the fuel pump. If you look under there, you'll see the 30, well, you can probably see it better now, 30 and the 87 pin on the bottom. So however your relay sits, which I believe it sits like that, you're going to want to connect the 30 and the 87 with a jumper wire, which I have here. I don't know, this is maybe a 10 or 12 gauge, 14 gauge wire. Make sure that your ignition is on, and all you do is you basically connect the 30 and the 87, which looks like this. Which now my fuel pump is running, as you can see here. Alright, so just keep a close eye on it once you're getting close to filling up the tank with the fuel pump, or the fuel can. Just obviously disconnect the jumper and then swap cans. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Just wanted to give you guys a quick update what's going on here. As you can see here, we removed the wheel well liner. This uses, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 7mm screws, and then took the shield off that goes right around the gas tank area, right where the fuel pump is. So just to kind of give you an idea of what's going on here, you have your fuel sending unit here, you have your fuel lines, the return there. This wiring here is the wiring that runs from the alternator back to the fuel pump. Here's the relay. It's important to note that this is the wiring for a single fuel pump, not the double fuel pump that I'm going to be installing. So I'm going to go ahead and remove all this stuff here, show you guys what the single 340 fuel pump looks like, and then install the double fuel pumps. Alright guys, so here we are getting ready to take out the fuel sending unit here out of the gas tank. So what you're looking at here is the pigtail that comes from the wiring that goes to the front of the car onto the alternator. I pointed that out before. One of the things that I want to make sure you guys are paying attention to is there's a little line here, and there's a notch on the gasket for the fuel sending unit. Those have to line up when you put the fuel sending unit back in. Otherwise, you're going to spend 2 hours trying to line up the gasket and the fuel sending unit, and it will not fit. I may or may not know that from experience. Anyway, the other thing to also note here is to remove these fuel lines, you just gotta depress these clear clasps here. There's one on this side and one on the bottom. So you basically just press them and then you push that way for all three of these. This is probably a good time to change your fuel filter if you haven't done so already. Mine looks fairly new, so I'm not going to change it, but the fuel filter is up that way. If you crawl underneath the car, you'll be able to see it. So if you're this far into the job, may as well change the fuel filter. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and start removing the fuel sending unit. I'll probably take periodic videos just to show you guys how everything comes apart and comes out. Take your time doing this. Do not yank. Do not force anything out. There is a fuel lever that's in there that you kind of have to take apart. I'll try to get that on video for you guys. If you bend that or damage it, you may or may not have an issue with your fuel level gauge reading correctly. So take your time. Job's not going anywhere. It's not worth damaging anything just because you're a little bit upset with the car. So see you shortly. All right, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to undo one of these fuel lines. What you want to do is you want to compress these two clear things and push the fuel line away. All right, and then just gently pull the line away, and there you have it. Alright guys, if you made it this far into the video and you've neither got gas all over the place or burned the garage down, I'd say you're doing pretty good. If there's ever a time to put a fan on, so you can see over there, or have your safety glasses on, it's right now. Please make sure you guys wear that. You don't want gasoline in your eyes. There's a few things I want to show you guys as pointers. If you look here, I talked about the little notch that's on the gas tank and it's on the gasket, as you can see here. There's also a little line here that aligns the fuel sending unit to the gasket to the gas tank. You don't have to worry about switching these guys around, as the blue one is painted with some blue on the actual sending unit, the green one same thing here, and then the black one same thing here. So hopefully you don't switch those around. Another pointer is, please make sure that when you guys are taking these screws off, you don't drop them. They're fairly small. If you drop them into the shield, you are really going to hate your life. So as you're undoing them, take your time. Basically what I do is, as I switch hands here, as I undo them, I basically have a deep socket. I tilt down, put my finger there, and make sure I capture it inside the socket, and then just dump it out. Alright, so here's the last one. I'll go ahead and take this out. There should be some gas that comes out. It'll probably leak into this shield and then go down there somewhere. So as you can see, I have one here to capture any gas coming off the lines, and one here that I can push down this way. I think the gas actually comes out of this little void here. So anyway, make sure you're prepared. You don't want gasoline all over the place. You're gonna hate the smell of that stuff in your house. So alright, see you guys shortly.